to another episode of the Success Stories Show. Today I have a special guest. This person is unbelievable successful. She's multi-industry, multitask, and let me tell you more about her. She's a certified holistic trichologist. I never heard about that word, today we're going to learn about this. Cosmetologist and educator. Owner of Fabulously Made Salon and Hair Loss Solutions and Fabulously Made Education. With 14 years of experience, she specialized in non-surgical hair replacement, holistic hair restoration, scalp health, and wellness. She serves as a trichologist for Itima Hair Products and has spent over 10 years as an educator, teaching for professional hair care lines such as Goldwell and Swanscourt, I believe, professional. There you go. And also she's as a director of Trichology on a mission. Her passion is to advance education, innovation, and support in their field, helping restore not only hair, but also confidence and quality of life for those experiencing hair loss. Wow, this is so important for a lot of us. So welcome, Johanna.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be with you today, Maria.
No, me too, because I've been, watching all the time your pictures, your bio, your content. You're going to be one of the successful recipients this year at our annual Women in Business Convention. And I want to meet you in person, so I'm super happy that you are
too.
So tell me more about, first of all, the first question, what is trichology?
Yeah, so trichology is where cosmetology and dermatology merges together. So we help people with regrowing their hair. So it's just that middle line. What dermatologists can't do, we can't do because we're not doctors. We don't prescribe medications, but we are allowed to touch the hair and the scalp for regrowth of the hair.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because usually when you have some
I think you froze, Maria. There we go.
Yes, can you hear me, Johanna?
Okay, now I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, that sometimes when we do interviews to online, the internet is tricky. So hopefully today is going to be on our favor. No, I was saying that usually when it's the hair loss, you go to dermatology and then that's it. But you don't really think that can be a combination of, something that is also happening with another areas, not just the dermatologist. And that's why it's very important to learn more about not just this term, but also what you do. You mentioned also about education. So tell me what type of education you provide with the company.
So there's a lot of education. A lot of things are actually linked to our internal health. Typically what happens is people used to like minoxidil, cortisone shots and stuff like that, but those are kind of like band-aids. So we try to educate the clients that most hair loss, almost all hair loss is connected with internal deficiencies in vitamin and minerals and our diets, including stress level and everything like that, that contributes to the hair loss. So if we just use shampoos or topical stuff without taking care of those internal health, all we're doing is creating a band-aid and not taking care of the core issues. So it's super important for me so people know the connections of their vitamin deficiency and why they're experiencing the type of hair loss that they're going through. So we go through different ways in educating the community about hair loss because men and women go through it, and something as easy as getting pregnant or having high stress level can cause telogen effluvium, which is a type of hair loss that starts shedding your hair like crazy. And you're like, what's happening? But there's things that we can do to prevent it or to help restore those deficiencies that you have. So it's super important to really get into the deep roots of the causes of these things and then kind of being able to be on the same page for the regrowth.
And then for the regrowth, you use organic products, more like a natural or some kind of medicine that they need to take to do this.
Yeah, so we do both. We do internal health. So I provide either a bioscan or they will provide me with their blood panels from their doctor's office. and I will review where the deficiency and imbalances or even the medication that they're taking that can contribute to, lost in vitamins and minerals because it depletes it. So I will review that, and then we will put them on nutraceutical supplements as well as doing topical treatments. But we do them both together. We don't forget about the internal health, which is the most important part.
And when you mentioned this, it's so important because when you go to the doctor's office, they don't really tell you too much about it. They try to give you, some medicine for the hair, but they don't tell you, maybe the root of the problem is like what you're eating and you haven't, receiving enough vitamins and things like that. That I
Yeah.
heard in the past that it's probably it should be the first step in whatever problem you have in, health problem that you are experiencing. For example, my daughter, she has alopecia,
See.
and she was diagnosed with this uh, when she was, I think, 3 or 4, but she was very little. I mean, thank God it's not advanced. It looks like now it's gone. But what the doctor said is that it can come back anytime. So it's not like a guarantee that it's gonna disappear forever.
Yeah.
But I was super scared when I heard that because when you think about alopecia, the first thing you think is like a bald, no hair, you're gonna lose
Correct.
everything. And in her case, obviously, it's not advanced, it's probably in the first stage, but it's being controlled. Like she doesn't have, on the contrary, she has a lot of hair. But I'm so
Right.
scared about her having problems with that. And back in that time, I didn't receive enough education about what alopecia was, if it is a cure or what else I can do. But then with time, I learned that, it's also about what you eat. And it's
Correct.
something about the immune system as well. Like several illness that you can find out there, like it's more like an immune system reaction, and maybe eating better, like you mentioned, it can help.
Yes.
But in this case of the losing your hair, it can be so many reasons, right? Like you said, maybe it's stress,
Correct.
maybe you are too much under the sun. I don't know. But something I was gonna mention is I remember when I was pregnant, something the opposite effect happened to me, and my hair was so beautiful. Like wow, I love my hair. It was shiny, beautiful. Like I can take care of my hair every day. So why is that? Why that happen?
Sometimes it's just the shift in our body system is letting us know. So kind of like our hair is our lie detector. Sometimes you'll go to the doctor and you're like, hey, I feel something is wrong. And the doctor's like, oh, everything's okay, your blood panel. But the hair, like whether it's brittle or you're shedding a lot, is letting you know that you're starting to deplete on important things. It can be something as easy as iron, vitamin D, vitamin B. You have a lot of inflammation in the body. So there's many factors that can contribute to that. And the word alopecia, usually a lot of dermatologists would diagnose their clients with alopecia. And people are like, oh my God, I got alopecia. So I tell people alopecia just simply hair loss. And then what we have to do with the scalp analysis is pinpoint the exact type of hair loss. For example, it sounded like your daughter may have alopecia areata. Did she have spots where she
Yeah,
was thinning the hair?
was here at front that I started getting concerned about this spot. So that's why I took her to the doctor. And then the
Yeah.
doctor said, yeah, she has alopecia. I mean, since then, I've been, trying to monitor all the time. She's 12 now, and seems like she doesn't have anything for now. But she received several shots, like at least 6 different shots through this year.
Yeah. And that's important to find out the exact type of hair loss. Like alopecia by itself is such a broad way of saying hair loss, but there's certain things that are connected, like um, scarring alopecia is connected to extreme inflammation in the body, where alopecia areata is an autoimmune deficiency in the body. So you can't treat them both the same because it's caused by different things, and that's what needs to be addressed. So that's the most important part. Is like, okay, alopecia, that's great. But now let's figure out exactly what the alopecia is and what is the causing factor of it. So then we can help with the internal. And then topical, I always tell people topical is like the cherry on top. It helps stimulate faster. But internal is always going to be the number one thing you want to take care of first.
What you're doing is so important, Johanna, the education. because we don't really know too much about different things, and we just assume or we are led by the doctors, and sometimes doctors don't give you too much information about the problem, so you really need to start looking at different places. So what you're doing is very important because you are not just being a successful entrepreneur, but also you are educating in the process about these different problems with the hair loss. And you also mentioned you have a salon, right? Is that also a salon
Yeah.
or just focus on the hair soul solution?
So I actually have a salon. But we do more than the traditional beauty services like cut, color, and style. We focus on the solutions for men and women experiencing hair loss. And then what we specialize in is non-surgical hair replacement, then the holistic hair restoration and scalp health and wellness. All that means is that for non-surgical hair replacement, that gives people the option to wear toppers and wigs. So like if you're thinning and you're like, hey, I want to feel like when I go to a business presentation, or I want to feel myself again, we utilize toppers and wigs, create the style that you're used to so that you can get that instant gratification to be able to live your day-to-day life. And then hair restoration is the part that the trichology part. That's when we treat the body, we take care of the scalp to help with the regrowth. And then overall, again, the wellness is always going to be our number one priority like for non-surgical hair replacement and hair restoration. Because whether you wear a topper or not, overall, you still need some strong hair on the follicles to be able to sustain, the weight of a topper or a wig, or to regrow the hair back. So that's usually we do is connect the wellness guidance to give the internal health to get the external result, which is the best part of it.
And one of the questions that probably you hear often is like, if I do too much color on my hair, eventually I'm gonna lose the hair.
So those things can be give and take. There's permanent hair color. Permanent hair color has tie and alkaline. And so sometimes depending on your scalp, if you're prone to hair loss, permanent might be too aggressive. You might need to do a demi because it's penetrating through the scalp. And if you're prone to it and you have sensitivity, it may contribute to hair loss. But again, it's not just the color, it's more of the internal health to support everything else that you need for topical support.
Wow, I see. So all this is so important. But how come you decided to start your business? Tell us about you.
Yeah, I just had this like dream and inspiration that I wanted to create a difference. I grew up in a salon. My dad had a salon, and I just kind of wanted something different than people just coming in and doing the regular style. So having that connection, especially with women suffering from hair loss, it's like a different connection. You're giving these women the confidence that they're needing back in their life because there is so much misinformation on hair loss. So it was like one of those things. I just don't want to make people feel great with color and extensions. I really want to make a difference. And that to me was the biggest impact in my life because it's not just women with cancer going through hair loss. It's just everyday women with different things that they're going through in life. And just to see them either regain their confidence, some of them will cry and say, I feel happier than I ever been. I can look at myself in the mirror now and love myself again. Like those are very impactful, especially for those who've gone through hair loss. It really affects their self-esteem. And people think that hair loss is, oh, you got cancer. And that's not necessarily true. Or you got hair loss, so you're going to be bald completely. And, that's scary for a woman. So that to me was really important to create that safe space, not just for like the styles of like the Kim Kardashians, but everyday women that are like, you know what, I want to embrace my beauty, but I'm going through hair loss and I need help. And then that was more my focus and my empowerment to men and women.
So you started like a new generation of salons with this idea because I never heard about this and I believe it's very important. How long you're doing this, Johanna?
So it's been 14 years that I've been licensed I started off just like a regular salon and then I
Okay,
deepened my education.
very
Huh?
young. You started when you were very young.
I wish I was still young. I really wish, but yeah, it's been such a beautiful journey. And I did it just like everyone else. I started like a salon and then I furthered my education in trichology. And I'm like, yes, I want to be able to impact, all the women and men that are going through the hair loss.
And it's more based on your experience of the 14 years that you're doing, it's more likely like you have women clients or it's more like men or it's both, both the same percentage.
I do see more women than men. Men are starting to be more open about it. It's funny because sometimes they look at men as like, oh, you're losing your hair, just shave it and you're gonna be fine. There's actually a lot of men now that are very focused, driven on their appearance too, especially businessmen, that they don't want to be bald, they want to have hair. So giving them the solution of either regrowing it or using toppers. But I do have a large amount of women that I work with, and that's just been like one of those happiest places that I've had, because seeing their transition, it's just been amazing to see.
Touching people's lives. Tell me, Johanna, about some challenges you faced in your life. It was so difficult to start this business, or maybe in a personal level, or any other thing that happened to you in the past that somehow you overcame.
Yeah, so it was a journey for sure. I think that the one thing that kept me focused is I was very driven. I knew what my goals were and what I wanted to accomplish. But it didn't come easy, I kind of I jumped into it and started my business, and I learned throughout, my journey, and I had a lot of great mentors to help support me. I had the support of my family to make it happen. But you will come some challenges, with making sure that when you start your business that you have the appropriate tools necessary, like your software. It's not just about your talent and what you can do, but it's also to run a business, like the software, bookkeeping, tools that can help your job be easier, like really preparing yourself for the day is super important. And you're going to have ups and downs, so you're going to have to be able to be ready for that. And because hair loss is such an emotional um thing for men and women, it does weigh a little bit on your, because you feel them in your heart. If you're genuine about helping people, their sadness becomes yours. So it's finding that balance of how can I help you but also stay strong for you because you need that support. So again, it's just finding ways to self-care, proper tools and business softwares, and then time management is really what helps you move forward with your business.
So you started this company by yourself. You said that your family support you, but it was like your dad said, "Okay, I'm gonna help you to start your business," or you started from scratch.
I started completely from scratch. And it's funny because when I first started my business, because what I do is a tight niche, I was on a 2-year non-compete. So I couldn't help people with hair loss for those 2 years because I was under a contract. So I stayed focused on the regular traditional salon. But then as that contract became over, then I focused in my true passion, which is helping men and women with hair loss. And it was just getting a lot of education, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of hours, to prepare everything. A lot of it was learn as I go too, because though my father had a salon, it was different from the way they used to do things to what it is today. I think what people experience that's a lot different for me is I only do one client at a time. I don't have anybody in the room with me, so it's a very private setting for them. And that's kind of like what keeps it different. But just kind of creating what I believe is a safe space for people to come see me.
So from the holistic perspective, you mentioned that the root of problems can actually be because of what you eat. What would you recommend people to in the daily life can eat or they should avoid probably that can cause
Yeah.
a lot of problems with the hair loss?
So one of the things to really consider is one, you have to know your blood type. Knowing your blood type is going to be a major thing because there's different blood types and those blood types drive from certain foods. So it's not just about eating healthy foods like fruits and vegetables. It's finding out what foods are benefit for your blood type that can reduce the amount of inflammation. So for example, I'm O positive. they were like, oh, eat chicken, eat lean meat, and eat cauliflower. Like I did keto, and it was a lot of cauliflower, right? Cauliflower actually causes extreme inflammation in my body. So though I was losing weight, I was creating inflammation, which then made me very fatigued. So instead of having cauliflower, I can have broccoli, right? So those two healthy vegetables, but one causes me extreme inflammation and one doesn't. And then the same thing for meats. Like I drive more with beef than chicken. So it's kind of like certain things like that. Like people with A blood type, they're more like pescatarian or vegetarian. They shouldn't eat as much meat as O people. So there's different things like that. And finding out, like I was devastated when I found out I couldn't have avocado. I was like, what? I love
Ah,
avocado, but it causes inflammation in my body. So if I have it, I have to be mindful to take an anti-inflammatory or, do a lot more foods that doesn't create the inflammation so that when I want to have like avocado, like for me, it's like guacamole, you have it with your tacos and stuff, that I'm
mm,
prepared for that. And sometimes people don't think that because they're like, oh, this is healthy food, so I'm okay, not
right.
realizing that's causing more inflammation.
Yeah, you're right. Sometimes when I eat something and it's natural, it's healthy, but for some reason my body is rejecting. I never thought
Yeah.
about that. What an interesting idea to explore.
Yeah.
But I'm
So
very
I hope.
excited that you're gonna also be doing a presentation during the convention. What is gonna be your presentation about?
So we're definitely going to talk about the different types of hair loss, but what causes this hair loss? So what does, for example, like vitamin contributes to our body? Like how does that affect our hair? So we're going to go over certain things like that of things to be mindful of and what vitamins or even medications like high blood pressure can cause deficiency within our body, like when you're taking those medicines. So those things I'm going to connect with everybody is let you know what the different types of hair loss are, what vitamins and minerals are connected to that. So, because then they'll start connecting the dots like, hey, I might be D deficient. This is why my hair is feeling this way, or this is what can contribute to that. And then I'll explain what bioscan and a blood chemistry analysis is. So then you guys know what's the best steps to move forward on treating your hair loss.
I love it. I love it. And for the ones that are watching this interview, please keep in mind that Johanna is coming from Tampa, Florida, and this is going to be a special presentation for all of you. So not just for people that is in Miami, but keep in mind that everybody is coming from different cities and countries to this convention in Tampa. If you want to learn more about this, visit our website, www.100fwp.com, and then you're going to find out more details on how you can participate, how you can attend. We have 3 different days of activities, so you don't want to miss it. But especially, you cannot miss the presentation for Johanna. This is so important. She knows too much. So I'm already preparing my questionnaire when I see her in person because this information is so important. And the best part
Yes.
of everything is free. So Johanna is gonna
Yeah.
be there for you. Okay. So don't miss this opportunity. Johanna, are you planning to expand to other cities? Because I know that the headquarters right now are in Tampa, but are you planning to expand?
That's what I'm looking for. That's my goal for next year is expanding and getting a bigger location in Tampa and then looking into different areas that I can possibly expand. Um, so next year will be more expansion, a bigger location so that I can provide more educational support for the community and then within the 5 years be able to expand in different like cities and states.
Beautiful, beautiful. But people can actually come from anywhere to Tampa to visit you. And I'm sure that you can
Yes,
do phone or video calls to, the consultation to see what is the process, right?
yes, definitely.
Awesome. So Johanna, I'm gonna make sure that your information is shared with all our audience. What you're doing is not just important, but it's very much educational, and I think that people needs to know about this because it's actually not just like you said, a salon where you go and do your hair, but it's more than that to learn to know your body, what you eat, and how
Yes.
they can actually impact your life forever. So please visit Johanna's website to learn more about this. And remember that she's going to be doing a presentation during the convention, but also she's receiving an award as a successful entrepreneur. As you can tell, 14 years of experience doing this. We're eager to meet you. She's going to be also on the cover of our magazine, the Women in Business magazine. You don't want to miss the article to learn more about Johanna. Johanna, it was a super pleasure meeting you. Te veo en Miami.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure. Thank you
Take
so much for
care.
providing this platform. Bye.
Bye, Johanna. Thank you.